Hola, everybody, and welcome to tonight's lounge. How's everybody doing today? I hope you are doing well, swell, and hey, maybe you can't tell. I don't know, but we're here hanging out, and we uh, we hope you're having a lovely night. I'm just going to turn this down just a little bit. Can everybody tell the Mercury retrograde is on the horizon? I don't know if you guys could tell. Mercury retrograde is pulling in, and next week we are going to have a little Mercury retrograde reverse shadow. So that means that when we hit that Mercury retrograde, everything seems to be going in reverse. Missed appointments, forgetfulness, change of plan, things not going the way you thought they were. Everything changing, technological issues, lots of things going on. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Yeah, Monogram. What's going on? Sarah, Nicole, Lori. Good evening, everybody. We have a planned show for you today, but in the spirit of the retrograde, we might have to change our plan. But as mediums and intuitives here, we're used to dealing with the Ethernet, or whatever you want to call it, because sometimes we have to seek the spirits of other kinds to show up at the lounge. When we think one thing's going on, another thing might be going on. So I have to channel some of the spirits of my own here tonight because I'm a little confused. The retrograde's coming. We have a little bit of confusion in the studio today. So the topic may completely change in the show. We have to find out because I need some grounding. I need some grounding force here. And I think I'm going to just need to bring on none other than our fabulous medium co-host extraordinaire, Elise Sattilaro.
Hey,
Hi,
everyone.
Elise.
Hi.
What's going on?
I don't know, but isn't it the truth? Just thinking it's going to go one way and things are going the other all day.
All day.
All day.
Yeah.
Waking up good and then waking like an hour before coming up with a really extreme headache. So.
Oh, and we're both wearing black V-necks. What's up with that?
I don't know.
With the black and we both have, you have a bigger microphone than I do.
I do.
Yeah.
But it was on sale.
Your microphone just keeps getting bigger and bigger as the days go on.
I think I moved it. I'll move it off. Can you hear me okay then? This is good?
I can hear you just fine.
I have a big mouth.
Yeah, but you don't let it flow too much. You know what I'm saying?
I tried to keep it.
Try to keep it dim?
Yeah, keep
even
it
keel?
Yeah, but not today.
Not today. You let everybody have it. Did you let anybody have it today?
No, actually I was very good. I was okay. Yesterday was the day I wanted to give people
a piece of your mind.
Yes. Right. But everything's good. It's good to see everybody online.
It is good to see everybody online. Yes. How's everybody doing tonight in the lounge? You guys feeling the retrograde that's upon us? Are you feeling that everything's kind of slowing down and that you're confused as to your routine and you're confused as to what you're doing, what's going on, who's here, who's there, who's everywhere? We don't know, right? Kind of confusing. You know, I think tonight we're going to have to channel some spirits because I don't know what's going on. We have a little bit of a change in the studio today. I'm just going to check my email just to see if I heard anything.
Okay.
But I know you guys are expecting Bob Grant tonight. And he's usually very prompt and on time. We don't know where he is. We hope he's okay because I've known Bob for a long time and he's always very aware. You know, he's here. I didn't get an email. I don't know if he's having technological problems. We don't know. So we're saying that if we can't channel the spirit of Bob Grant, into the studio, then we're going to have to channel just the normal spirits into the studio. And we have enough mediums here tonight where we got to improvise. I mean, that's the lounge. You don't know. The lounge is a show that books itself. So I booked Bob Grant. Hopefully he's gonna be here at some point. And if not, we're gonna have to channel some other people, some other spirits, do some other readings. We don't know what's gonna happen. All right. So a lot of people are commenting here, Elise, and it looks like you and I are not the only ones. We've got Sarah Benedict Rook. She's having more anxiety and sadness. I've been having anxiety and sadness. Have you?
I have. Absolutely. Yeah. It's been weird. Like not myself. Not myself at all.
Well, and then look what Kelly's saying. Let's channel the spirits in Elise's house, or feel free to channel any spirits around. Thank you to tell me to feel free to do it. Thank you. I will feel free.
We don't sometimes we don't have a choice. Like prior to this, I don't know if you can hear my little portable fan, but it was sitting there and all of a sudden it flew off the thing. And then right before the show started, a bag fell off of my hope chest. So
all right. So maybe people maybe the spirits didn't want Elise. I mean, maybe they didn't want not you, Elise, but Bob Grant here.
Oh, maybe not. That's not nice.
Well, we want him here. It's not that we're
exactly.
saying. Yeah. Look at everybody. Diane's feeling lost. Michelle, she's feeling torn more than confused. So it's exhausting you. Mercury Reg. You know, guys, I have to tell you, just from the webcasts I've been doing and the energy forecasts I've been doing, this is when I was telling you those big spiritual tests are hitting. And when like the past is actually standing in your like the crossroad is right there and you are getting ready. I know it's like the darkest before the dawn, but we're going into a very dark time. Like if you were doing all that transition work in the past 5-6 months, you're now going into the shadows. You're going into the dark. That's why we're all wearing black, because we're shedding. We're going into the shadow period. This is going to be a tough October, November. And I'm just being a realist. I know I'm here to entertain, here to laugh, here to have fun. October and November are going to be scary months for a lot of people. They're going to be tough months. There's a lot of energy around. And if you're feeling lost, sometimes when there's big world events that are coming on, the spirits will actually pull back from us. Like the people that we might feel like the spirits are around us, or our guides are around us, our angels. And sometimes when they have to do the bigger work, sometimes they have to pull away and kind of go on the world event side. And so we feel like abandoned almost. We feel alone. This has happened to me a couple times in my life, but I'm used to the feeling. But these are like when I said in the last office, this is a time of deep sadness and grief, because you're finally releasing that the core wound stuff that you've been trying to get to in the last 3 months. So I know it sucks, but this is what we're here for. We're here because we're all in this together. And we're not, I don't know, I'm not separated from it. Elise isn't separated from it. We're here. We're in it with you guys. And we're just going to try to help you navigate it. Hopefully. I don't know if Bob Grant, if the aliens picked him up or something. I don't know where he is. I'm very confused. We keep waiting. You know, he's been on many of my shows for many years, so I don't know what happened to him today. Anyway, we're just going to continue as if Bob Grant were here. Okay, we're going to continue as if Bob Grant were here, because we have Jen is coming back. She is someone who was assessed by Bob Grant. Bob Grant waved his magic wand, and she has a lot of updates from the first time that she was on with Bob Grant. He also has told me, because his promotion went so well the last time, and some of our guests have actually had private one-on-one calls with him. They got his program, and the promotion was they get a 15-minute one-on-one call with Bob. And now Bob charges, and he's very upfront with this. He charges $400 and 45 minutes. That's a lot. So if he's giving you a 15-minute call, that's about $150 value plus the program. He's extending that this week until Friday the 16th, because he has another book that another program that's in addition, like to Women Men Adore. This is the 5 bonding stages that men have to go through to commit to a woman forever in their mind, heart, and spirit. So I have that promotion. I'm just going to put it up for you guys. If you guys want to check it out, you will get that 15-minute call with Bob, provided we know where Bob is, but I'm sure we do. But I'm going to put that up. It's a new book that he has coming out. And so he's offering it to you guys. Plus you get the 15-minute call with him. We're hoping he would come on to talk about that, but maybe he will in a little bit. So first and let me just tell you about the lineup tonight. Okay. We have Jen. She's come back on. She's going to talk about her love life and Bob Grant. And you know what? Since Bob Grant's not here to assess her, we're going to assess her. We're going to give her a reading. Okay. We're going to see what's coming in for her. We're going to see where her love life is at and give her a reading. Then we have live music. Okay. We have our house band that's here, April, May, and the June Bugs. They're here all through the end of October, but they're usually on every other week. But we have musicians in between those weeks, and we have none other than our lovely #stable Gina Randazzo. She was #stable on Intuitive Radio. Now she's just Gina Randazzo. but she still will channel the stable. She'll still channel. You just can't, once you're on a 2-a-day radio and you have a name, like you can't like just leave it go. Okay. There's still a part of her, a mini part of her that still is stable, but she's a lot more stable than she was back then. Okay. So she's going to do a few songs for us because we didn't tell you last week that she is a musician. She's recording another album. And she also reads tarot cards, which you guys didn't know about stable. You did not know about stable. So we have not only me and medium Elise Sattilaro here, we've got musician Gina Dazzle, #stable. We have a mystery guest that is coming on that I'm very excited about. And I think if you guys watch the show, we're going to be very excited to bring her on and hear about her love life, because I want to delve into that and see what's going on. So what do you think, Elise? What do you think? Where are we going here? Should we bring Jen on and start this thing?
Let's definitely start with Jen.
All right. Let's welcome Jen to the studio. Jen.
Hi.
Hey, Jen.
What's going on?
Lots of scoop to catch up on since Bob.
I know.
Like a magical moment that I didn't see, but you guys did. And even watching it, I couldn't see it.
Really? You couldn't see it back? Like your face completely changed and lit up?
I mean, I seen I was smiling more, but
yeah,
I didn't see the moment it happened. But something definitely happened because it was like a 4-year like low of dating, like nothing. Ghost town. And then the very next day after being on with Bob, I met someone at a pool party. He got my number. We like really hit it off. The following weekend, I went out on Saturday night. A guy asked for my phone number. I went out Sunday night. A guy asked for my phone number.
What?
During that
serious?
week, yes.
Wow.
Whoa.
After, a guy I went to grade school with inboxed me on social media. And then I went down the shore again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I went on a date with someone that like talked to a while ago, but never went anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then he asked me out on a date the following weekend. And then this 2 weekends ago, I went out one night down the shore for average weekend, and a guy I was supposed to hook up with 2 years ago, and which is bad timing on both of our parts.
Yeah.
Asked me out, and I met a girl who loved me and wanted to hook me up with her brother. So now I'm like talking and texting and
oh my God,
going on first and second dates with 7 guys, and it was a 4-year like nothing.
Do you see what happened though? What happened when you were on the show? He brought out your natural attraction and your magnetism before you were like completely shut down. So nobody was picking up on that energy.
Yeah, it was
like
amazing.
It was like, yeah. Oh my God. We all saw it because like your energy completely changed. It went from like very withdrawn and you drab, like there was nothing. It was like you were stoic, like there was like nothing there.
Right.
Like, but then he started to ask you how you felt about things. And all of a sudden, like, it was like he waved a magic wand and like you came to life. And like the real you came out.
Like, I thought I wasn't allowed to feel the way I did because I wasn't in a committed relationship. And when he said that I was allowed, I feel like that's what changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm allowed to have my own feelings and feel the way I feel. I don't know. It was something definitely happened that night. I wanted to thank him and you for having me on.
Aww. Yeah, I mean, I have to ask you, have any of these guys like, I mean, are you like the Bachelorette kind of like are you like living?
Well, no, I don't know who to pick.
I know. So I think that should be our next show, is that you should bring them all on here and then they're going to compete for you and they have to pass all of our inspections and our psychic evaluation.
I think that's an excellent idea.
This could be like the live lounge and the Bachelorette all at once. We'll do it live and I'll be like, I'm going to mute this guy and tell you all about him. So like, did you go out with any of these guys or you just have dates like planned?
4 of them. We went out already.
Wow. And
so who was the best date?
Yeah. Who's the leading man?
Yeah.
The guy I met most recently, we went out last Friday. That's why I couldn't do the show. That was our first date. We went out again Saturday.
Wow.
And then I seen him yesterday. So
you have someone that you like a little bit more than others.
I do. Like, he definitely is more attention than the others. You know, some are like you hear from them once a week, and he's definitely more, um, texting every day, talking every day.
Wow.
That's a start. That's not
Well,
bad.
you know what Bob said? Got to pace him.
Yeah.
Got to pace him. So I wouldn't give him all of your time and attention until he gives you that, asks you to be the girl, the main woman.
Yeah.
Because you're busy. You got other dates going.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Does he know about the other guys?
No, none of them know about anyone.
Oh.
But I mean, there were only a couple first dates too.
Yeah.
Went on.
So where did these guys like take? Like, can you tell us like what the most interesting one was, or like where you went? Was the conversation interesting, or the place you went to interesting, or like how? Can you tell us anything about any of these guys?
A little bit difficult with the COVID. Like, so you have to go out. You can't just go out and hang out somewhere. Like
you can't be making out with them, obviously, with masks.
No, I didn't make out with anyone yet.
Yeah, yeah, you have to.
I don't kiss on the first date.
Okay.
But you like the one that you don't hear from. And that's what I'm trying to change. Like when you did your thing earlier this week about what feels good and shiny, like maybe I should go for the boring. So the
Not
one that's
boring, just consistent.
Right.
Yeah, the one that's texting every day. I'm like, oh, like I want to hear from the one who I haven't heard from in a week, But
yeah,
I'm
because
trying
it's
to change
triggering
that.
what's familiar. It's triggering that familiar feeling of the emotionally unavailable man, which you said you've had the cycles with before.
Right.
Now, see, I'm going to tune in. I'm tuning out and I'm tuning into the messages
ready
here.
Back up. Here we go.
Yeah, everybody back it up. All right, Jen, ready? This one that's coming, that's like, he's ready. The one that's like actually pursuing you. He's ready for like our relationship. I think he wants commitment. I think he wants out of life. I'm not saying it has to be you, but I think he wants like that. I think he's like kind of like a little bit of a sensitive guy inside, where he wants that emotional relationship, that commitment. The guy you're not hearing from, I still get a feeling of someone else behind him. So there might be something that he's not fully out of yet. So I'm getting, do you know that?
Yes. He's recently divorced.
Okay.
He said it was complicated and
what did Bob say?
Legal.
Yep. What did Bob say last time? You weren't on this show, Jen, when Bob was here the last time with us, but he said not to get involved with recently separated men because they're really not available yet.
Yeah, he's not recently separated. That's been a couple of years, but going through the legal divorce process still.
Yeah, I think that's what I think. Didn't he say that at least like not to, if they're not like fully divorced and moved on for a little while, might be tricky with the emotional entanglements.
They're still exactly. They're still entangled with the wife or the ex-wife, and they're still trying to figure themselves out. It's emotional time on both sides. But Marissa, it's so funny you were talking about this guy having somebody behind him. So I pulled this card. If you see the shadow or like the woman figure, I don't know which side it's on, but it's right here, here.
Yeah,
that's him. He's still entangled in the memory of his marriage. He's not ready to really. He likes like the excitement of being with you. Because it's something new. Everything that's new is exciting, especially when you're first divorced. But this is something you need to like back up a little bit because this is the card I pull. Like, wait, it's a time period that you need to wait with this guy. If this is the guy you really want to end up with, I would just hold off. Play the field a little bit, but you're kind of be closing off your feelings towards him, to protect yourself because you don't want to get hurt because these guys that are just getting divorced and like wanting to get into relationships, they're kind of flighty, if I can use that word. Like they're not really in tune with what they want. They just, they just want to go out and like experience life again because it's owed to them, basically, especially if it's a bad divorce.
So what that last card you held up?
This one, it's you protecting your feelings.
Okay.
It's basically, I feel like we both have an attraction, but you're pulling back because of this, which you should be doing. Okay. Don't dive in.
I'm not.
Yeah, definitely not.
But I think you always want what you can't have.
Exactly.
Yeah. But there's nothing for you to have. That's the thing, is because his energy, there's nothing. He has like a tenth of his energy to give you, and he's completely has all this guilt. And there's a lot of like stuff going on with finances. There's stuff, but I'm picking up a CH name too. And this could be somebody that's coming in. I'm not sure, but it's like it could be Chet or Chip or Char. Like I keep getting a CH name, or somebody that could be connected to one of the people you're seeing, a Jeff and a Mike. So write those names down. If you don't know any of them yet, write them down.
Well,
it doesn't
Mike was one of the guys.
Mike is one of the guys?
Yeah, and Chris was another one. I mean, that's a C.
Okay, well, who's Mike? Like, what's his deal? Because I did pick up the mic.
He was one of the first guys that asked for my number after the show. We went on one date, and then I didn't really hear from him. Like, he texted that he was, busy with his kids, getting back to school and work and stuff, and haven't heard from him too much.
Who's that?
This is this guy she's just talking about. It's the
about
first
Mike.
card I pulled. Yes. Yeah. See the school? And it's like he'd be playing game, like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. He doesn't have time. You'd be playing games with him if you notice the checkerboard on the bottom. I don't know if you can see the card. Can you see it pretty well? Yeah. So I don't think this is a really good pick for you.
No, and after we went on the date, I kind of heard not so good a thing, so I had my guard up with him.
Yeah.
But he likes you. He still has a thing for you. You might hear from him again in the retrograde.
But he's got that
fence.
Yeah.
He did see one of my friends and told them that he hasn't contacted me and he did really like me, but the stuff I heard was not good at all. So I kind of glad I didn't hear from him.
Yeah, he could be a little emotionally immature. That's what I'm getting. And you don't want to date any guys that drink too much, because I'm definitely picking up at least 2 of the men of these 7 can binge drink a little too much. You don't need any alcoholism in your life. Yes. Well, okay. So I want you to think about some of your other questions if you want to ask more about this guy that you really do like, or the guy that's being consistent. We're going to take a music break and get to Stable. We're going to see what she has to show us. We're going to see what kind of talent. We're going to find out about her tarot cards, and we will be back with you, Jen, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Stable.
Hi.
What's going on?
Not much. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Awesome. We are good. We are good. We are good. And we are just excited, Stable, because you're recording a new album. Can you tell us about that?
I was in quarantine and wrote 12 songs.
Wow.
So
yeah.
Might as well do something with it. So my friend Richie Chamberlain, we're recording an album right now, which is fun. So we're doing that, and I'm playing everything on it. All the guitars, bass, percussion. So this is a first for me. So
this is the first time you're showing anyone this material?
No, well, this is the first time I've ever played absolutely everything on a recording before.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Well, thank you for allowing us to hear this. And this is Gina Randazzo, everyone. And she's been a part of all of our stuff for a very long time. And I just found out that tonight she might be breaking out her tarot cards in addition to her guitar. So would you like to tell us what song you'll be doing now?
Do you want to hear the upbeat one or the sad one?
I think we need a little upbeat energy. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Upbeat's good.
Cool.
All right.
Well, this one is called Planned Obsolescence. It's about how things are made to break.
Wow. So this is the positive one?
All right.
Okay. This is the positive one?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
It's
the
a
way
dark
the thing's going.
It gets dark in here. All right. My knees are blue bruises from unloading van loads of final goods. My back is stiff, I just want to lie here in bed today. But my phone is slow, not responding to my tap of scroll. So I'll have to get up and take it back where I got it. But I just got it replaced yesterday. Under warranty, not an upgrade. As with everything in this world, they make it break to get more of my bread. My thesis is due in the morning for my final grade. I type, it's safe for the hourglass, it just spins away. And it crashes and it goes black, and I guess I'm screwed for a lifetime. And that's why I pay $1.99 a month for a place in a cloud where my data sits. Back at you, back at me for their benefits. And with everything in this world, they make them to break to get more of my bread. That's it.
Woo!
Thank you.
I love it.
I love it too.
Excellent.
It's deep. I didn't really feel like this positive, like up. It's
Upbeat.
like it's deep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sensual. That's how I was feeling about
sensual.
it anyway. Yeah, sensual. It's probably like what you meant it to be is probably completely opposite of what
Right.
I feel, but I felt the sensuality to it.
All
But
right,
thank you.
then.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, tell us about you bringing tarot cards on today too? What's going on with that?
I don't know. I got
What
a new deck from my buddy Bill. We traded tarot cards. I don't know if you can see it. I gave him the Philly tarot
The
deck
Philly tarot, yeah.
by Jim
Okay.
Boyle, my buddy.
Which one's that?
And then Bill gave me the 8th house tarot, which is really cool, and it's got astrology stuff on it.
Oh, that's
So-
neat.
Yeah.
Well, then you got to put on your tag here. It says Gina Randazzo. You got to put tarotist.
I'm not. I'm a big fan of the artwork. I use it like as a tool to, guide my own stuff, but I don't know. I don't
All right.
claim to know
We're
what's
ready.
best for.
Well, we're going to bring on our mystery guest very soon. But before we do that, I want to get back to Jen and see if you have any additional insight, Gina, with your tarot cards.
Oh.
Let's say, hey, Jen.
Hi.
One of our watchers here said, how do you feel energetically after each date, Jen? Do you feel energized? Do you feel drained? Are you paying attention to your body after each of these dates?
So 2 of the dates, I'm weird. I don't kiss on the first date. I give a smooch. And I haven't felt like I wanted to kiss someone in a long time. Like years ago, I went on Match and different things and just did not have a good experience. And 2 of the dates, I actually would have kissed the guys or felt like I would have.
Okay.
I still think we
some
need
of
to
them
bring
are
them all on
draining.
here. Bring the guy that likes you, that's texting you on here, and the guy that's getting divorced, and we'll duel with them.
We'll play the dating game.
Yeah. Actually, anybody out there in our lovely chat, you can feel free to do that. Me too. If you're like having issues with the guy that you're trying to figure out. Well, this is what Bob Grant did for me. I'm saying Bob Grant changed my life. Okay. Like he changed yours, Jen. He showed you that just changing your energy, like completely out of nowhere, brought 7 dates into your life. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bob Grant changed my life. We were on the radio show and I was dating this new guy and he made him take off his headphones. I tell this story all the time. And he's like, I think you should rethink that one. And that was the best decision I made. You know what I mean?
Wait,
So it's
that
the
dude-
computer. Oh, wait. Oh my God. Bob's here. He's here. All right. Bob's here. Bob's here. Yay. He made it. Let's bring him on. Yay, Bob. You made it. We thought we were trying to go without you this whole time. We've been talking about you like you were a spirit in the Ethernet. Oh no, Bob, we can't hear you, bud. This is like a fireworks show. I mean, it's like Bob Grant shows up and we're all like, thank God Bob's here.
Now can we hear me?
Oh, yes. Now we can hear you, Bob. Yes.
Okay. Hi there.
Bob, we were so concerned. We thought something happened to you. We didn't know what was going on. We had to just improvise and we had to analyze these women ourselves.
I can feel the energy just getting on. Apparently you did a great job.
We tried. Well, you know what? Let me bring Jen on because we had gotten her update. Gina, I'm just going to pull you off for just 1 second, okay? We brought Jen back on. She was, if you remember, she was on our first show with you.
I remember.
Hi, Bob.
Hi there.
So, Jen, why don't you just try to give him the update of what you gave us, because it was pretty amazing what she told us, Bob. What happened right after, the day after she was on with you.
The day after I went to a pool party and me and this guy really hit it off, and he took my number and we've been talking here and there. The following weekend, I went out on a Saturday night. A different gentleman asked for my number. I went out Sunday night. Another gentleman asked for my number. The following weekend, during that week, a guy I went to grade school with inboxed me on social media and asked me out on a date. The following weekend, or
oh my gosh,
2 weekends ago, I went out. Oh, a guy I talked to previous to your show, here and there, off and on, he asked me out actually on a real date. And then 2 weekends ago, I went out one Saturday night, and a guy I was supposed to hook up with 2 years ago, but it wasn't good timing for both of us, wound up meeting again and really hitting it off. And then I met some girl who just loved me, and she's like, "You don't have a ring on your finger. Are you single?" And I said yes. And she's like, "I want to hook you up with my brother," and sent him a picture of me and showed me a picture of him. And we've been talking and texting. So now I'm talking and texting with 7 guys since your show. And it was 4 years of nothing.
4 years of nothing. The day after the show that started.
Yeah.
Like you waved your magic wand.
I'm going to ask you. So we're going to use the video before and this one. So I'm forewarning you, we're going to ask you, because putting those together is going to be dynamite.
Yeah, it was.
That's just forewarning. I hear women say stuff like this. I've heard stories from when women get good at this of walking down the street and guys buying them flowers. It doesn't happen all the time. So, I mean, it's not always, but I hear enough weird stuff like this that, I don't know that I would have expected it that soon, but something really happens when you connect with that part of you.
And I think something happened. You guys seen it. I didn't see it, but
we saw it.
Yeah.
Everyone saw it.
Something definitely changed. And
Congratulations.
So I wanted to thank you.
You're welcome. Now, can we prepare for what's going to happen next?
Well, let me tell you, Bob, she had one guy that Elise and I weren't too keen on, and we said, we don't think Bob Grant would be keen on him either from the last show, what he was talking about. One guy is going through a divorce that likes her and is not being that consistent. The other guy that's really pursuing her, she's like, oh, I really want to hear from the guy that's more emotionally unavailable. And she's trying to change that pattern, that the guy that's really being attentive, she's like, she likes, but she kind of wants to hear from the guy that's going through the divorce. So we're trying to steer her away from that pattern that's going on here.
Exactly.
But I'm aware of it now, and I see it where before I didn't see it. So I am trying to change it now that I am aware.
So how far can we push?
Oh,
well,
we can push.
I'm sure. Great. So you do see it, and that's also what makes it more dangerous. Because if you just didn't see it, it's always, gosh, if I could just get this epiphany. Well, now you've not only seen it, you've experienced it. And which sometimes just knowing stuff gives us the feeling I've got more control of the situation than I do. Like when people say, yeah, I understand. I'm not saying you're saying this, but what that really means is I'm not going to do it. Yes, you can tell someone, yeah, I got it. I can understand. They get it. If only that was enough. Because the follow through with it, this magic, if you want to call it that, has to be protected. We have the insight and all, but if we don't protect it, just like nurturing a plant or pick your analogy, it does wither away. Which doesn't mean, just it's got to be everyone boring or it's got to be everyone safe. But that vulnerability, this is why women that are good at this have good boundaries. They're not rigid or ugly, but they know that what you experienced and what it does is worth protecting. Yeah. And it doesn't mean be hard-nosed or ugly, but it's you're not saying this, but like addictive stuff or anything that, like Coke, not Coke, but snorting Coke, but Coke, cocaine or Coca-Cola or anything that changes your mood really quick. It's fun and easy, just like guys. But that's never always a great indicator how good they'll be. But it's familiar, and familiar is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was proud of myself on Friday. Friday, he texted me at like 11 o'clock, and I didn't answer because and that was the divorce guy that I, like he's the most attractive out of the 7 to me, and I, made plans with the one that keeps pursuing, that is consistent, who texts us every day, and I'm trying to be more open to that. And
that's different.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I'm being very conscious about it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I
know that
pattern. I mean, what were you saying to yourself though? How did you see? Because if you're doing something bad, you can go into all these details and all, but when we do something good, I just like us to obsess just as much. So how did you do that?
How did I say no at the 11 o'clock?
Yeah, how did you say no? Because you said something to yourself. It didn't just happen.
I just said I'm worth more, and I deserve better.
Yeah.
So call me, Wednesday before 11 o'clock on a Friday night.
Because that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. And I know what it was.
Yeah. But this time, you listen to that. See, I think it's probably always been there, but like last time we were together, you listened to whatever came up, even though it may be awkward or uncomfortable. This is where you reap from that. Because when you kind of listen to that voice, your heart will protect you if you let it. That's what it sounds like what you did. Because it's not that it died. It's just if I go through trauma growing up or go through stuff, I have to learn how to numb it out. But then you wake it up. And then all of a sudden, it's harder to numb yourself out. It's harder to dumb yourself down. It's harder to pretend. Now you just can't not see stuff. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was really proud of myself the next day.
Now, remember, I wouldn't push unless you're doing well. If you were struggling, not pushing. That would be terrible. So I push because you're doing well. It's when someone's going 80 miles an hour that I want 20 miles an hour more. If you were struggling and bleeding, let's just get her stabilized. So I mean, there's a compliment from that was a threshold you crossed over. Congratulations. There really is no going back. You can try. It'll be more miserable going forward if you go backwards.
I don't want to go back.
Not that no one wants to, but I just always forewarn them. I'm like, okay, so then that's actually your heart doing her job. If it feels miserable and stuff, I mean, you could numb yourself out just a lot harder now. Now, especially the more things you did, like you just did there. That also gives the 11 o'clock calling guy that demonstrates value in a way. She's not kidding. She's not kidding. Really? And that speaks to a man much more so than long explanations, much more so. So when I say a woman that puts her heart first, no man is a match for her, that's what I mean what you just did.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Jen. I'm gonna come back. We're just gonna take, because we have someone else who's waiting, but we're gonna do this a little bit differently, and we're gonna keep bringing you back, Jen. I'm just doing this in like a little shorter segments. But I want to introduce our other lady that we have here that we haven't brought on yet. She is our mystery lady. So I'll be back right with you, Jen, and we're going to talk about your next steps in just a couple minutes, okay? But I want to bring on our other lady, and I'm sure that you all know and love who we call the seductress. She was on last time we assessed her situation. I psychically read her. Elise psychically read her. Bob, she actually purchased Bob Grant's program and had hit the 15-minute call with him. And I don't know how that went because I didn't get an update. But we have who I call the seductress, but it's Carrie Potter. How are you, Carrie?
I'm doing great, Marissa. How are you guys?
Hey.
Hey, Carrie.
How is your haunted church? Is it still has the activity dulled down since we saw you last, or it's just
Yes.
You're doing okay? They're not bothering you?
Well, today, like Elise, I picked up this glass. This glass, but a different one, and it just split in half, and all the water went all over the floor. It's a very heavy glass, but no, I don't. I'm gonna say that's just a broken glass.
Okay.
Oh, look at people are already excited. Carrie, who lives in the church, they know who you are. They know the seductress is back and ready to seduce. This is just a lot, Bob. I've known Carrie long. This is just a thing.
As long as y'all understand what you're talking about, wonderful.
Yeah. Yes. We all have hashtags. We got to give you one. Give me hashtag Bob Grant. So now, Carrie, when I read you, because this is how like you've gone down the funnel here. I read you, then Elise read you, then Bob analyzed you, and then we read you again. So we kind of want to, I still hold the same, this is no matter what anybody says, I still hold the same opinion about the guy that you were seeing, that we still have to see what he's going to be like. Because I still see there's a part of him you don't know, and you have to be careful. Elise felt that too. Bob, I know. Yeah. I know that we addressed this situation. So I just want to see your update. What has gone on since you read Bob Grant's program and you had the actual 15-minute call with him? How did things change?
So I am trying to lead with my heart more. I'm when Bob and I spoke, I termed it as like playing whack-a-mole. Like I'd really like to have this be intuitive instead of flipping through my Rolodex of tricks and applying like, I have a barbed wire heart. That's from his book. And what else? Not acting like a guy. Because
yeah,
I mean, the guy and we went on a 30-mile bike ride today, which is why he's great, because he does the things that I like to do. And man, when I get on a bike, I'm one of the guys. It's inevitable.
The seductress goes away.
Yeah, it's game on. Yeah. Game over. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So I mean, you're rolling with this guy, right? You're moving ahead.
I would not have put 3 months ago, 6 months ago, I would never have imagined that I would be seeing the person that I'm seeing. He's a bit younger, but he texts me all the time, sends me cute pictures and memes, very courteous, picks me up, takes me grocery shopping, drops me off, picks me up, we go to the gym, drops me off home. Absolutely adorable. Wanted to take things slow at first. Still just so courteous, so sweet. And I never saw it coming. In the last 15 years, I mean, I've been very, very consistent with this at a 9-year relationship and a 5-year relationship. And this is just, it's wacky. Maybe it's a midlife crisis.
So do you still have some of those? I know you had some like concerns at first. You had some like red flags. Are they green now, or are they yellow? Are they like a little bit less red, or have you had a change of heart? I've
been trying to ask more questions, to feel free to ask questions and to give myself permission to be scared and to need clarification. And he's very open to discussing, in the past, I've been with guys who are really, really shut down. A couple of them were addicts, not when we met, but over time. I'll just say like the past came creeping back. So there was like, it was like Fort Knox. There was a big wall of protection. Anytime I would want to know the truth, I would want to ask more questions. I was met with sometimes aggression and anger, and insult and loud voices. So maybe this guy I'm dating now is not as forthcoming as I would want him to be in clear descriptive terms, but he's so passive and nice. And even if it's something that he doesn't necessarily want to talk about, but typically he will talk about, he does it in such a kind manner that for me, where I've been for 14 or so years, it's such a, I'm just drawn to the kindness. I mean, he could be an arms dealer and I wouldn't know it, but he's just very, very kind.
Wow, that's just
very kind. He's just so nice.
Just for example.
Wow.
Yeah. So what are you thinking, Bob? What's going through your mind wearing your nice Halloween fall shirt? What's going through your mind?
I mean, it sounds like this one's different than what you're used to, which, if we're going to get a different result, we want to do something different. And also it's also nice is I hear how simple you're making it from because if I want to be in control, I've got to know 14 different variables and I've got to have all these things. And I really like what you said. He could be an arms dealer. And I know you're being tongue in cheek and all that, but it's just, he's kind and that's enough for now. And that's got a nice pacing quality, it sounds to it. And especially if you're not used to that and used to drama or things really intense and all, that'd be my wish for you. And because who does know, but even if he has a bad day or something like that, at least you've seen this quality. And so, I mean, who knows, maybe something bizarre happens, but that could be with anyone. But just listen to you. It sounds like it has a nice feel to it. And even when you said that about the bike thing, I thought that was funny, game over. I think that's okay for women. It's not that women can't be masculine. It's not that. It's that when women use that as a way to hide behind something, I'm just going to, if you're a man enough, you man up to me. And I'm like, most men hearing that and going, you're not a man. We just don't. You're not bigger than me. You're not. So it's not that there's not a place for that. But even when you said it's like when I played racquetball with my girlfriend years ago, I beat her, but I was trying as hard as I could not to, and I still beat her. And she got mad. I mean, there's no way for me to say, I mean, that's one of those things you don't want to get into competitive thing because both people lose with it and stuff. So, I mean, as long as you're aware of that, is that I could take him if I could. And maybe I do, but I don't want to rub his face. It's that kind of stuff. But see, it sounds like you're aware of that stuff. And so that doesn't mean don't use that energy. We just don't want to hide behind it. And that's actually nice to hear you saying this because it sounds like, however, the stuff you've read, all the stuff, you're starting to actually apply it. And so far, it sounds good.
Well, you know what? I want to bring Jen and Carrie back on after we go to our musical break. We're going to do a song with Gina. And when we come back, I want to hear about, because this is a good segue, Bob, into the bonding stages program, which is not the program you had last time. Because it seems like both of these women are still kind of in, I think Jen's she's in the beginning stages, but Carrie's in the stage where at some point there's going to want to be a commitment for her or like some form of, hey, are we together? Like boyfriend and girlfriend, some sort of commitment. So I'm assuming that 3-week time frame and that 3-month time frame, like Jen being in the 3-week and Carrie being in 3 months, are very critical time frames for the bonding stages that you kind of have for our guests today and want to talk about that program because that's where both of them are, just at different stages. Okay, cool. So we're going to come back after we talk to Gina. She's going to play her second song. And you'll remember, Bob, Gina was from Intuit Radio. She was stable, Gina. She was our co-host on Intuit Radio, and you followed her love life for the whole year. Yeah, so we're going to bring her on and do a little recap of that because she had an interesting couple years. So let's bring her on. And Carrie and Jen, we will be right back with Bob to start you guys into that next stage for Jen of choosing the right guy, and for Carrie of getting that commitment and making sure it's right for you. So we'll be right back, and we will go to Gina. Gina, you remember Bob?
I do. Hi,
Hi,
Bob.
Gina.
How
Yes.
are you?
Yes, Bob, you had followed Gina's love life for a whole year. I don't know if you remember, but it was like 7 years ago. But she was trying to get back with her ex-boyfriend. That was our goal for the year. Her and Donna Drama. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember Donna Drama.
Yeah, well, how could you forget? We all, yeah. So stay with Gina. So they're still in touch, right? You, the guy that we were talking about back then, you guys are still friends today.
We're great friends.
Yeah.
We're great. He might be watching. We hang out like every week. He's a good friend. Yeah. But
look at Bob's face.
That's all I have to say. I'm not saying anything else. That's it.
He's watching, so all right.
I don't know.
Did you have any questions for Bob, Gina, that you wanted to ask him that you were curious about for yourself?
Nope. No, thank you.
Okay. Well, Bob, we will be right back with you, and we're going to go to Gina for her next song. Okay, we'll be back, Bob. Don't go anywhere, Bob. We'll have to go fishing for you again.
Yep.
Stay here. Okay. All right, Gina.
All right. This one's a little sad. Can you hear my levels all right?
Yes.
It's all good?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna take my headphones off. So.
Okay.
All right. I think of driving to Maine, listen to the CDs you made for me. Teddy in the passenger seat with the arms crossed, glaring at the road, shaking her head in disgust. I know you think this is romantic, but it isn't. He's being cruel to you. My lip quivers as I keep this pen on the road. Tears running down my face, and I just want to know why you said you loved me so. If you would never be mine, it was the cruelest trick of all time. And on the plane ride to Spain, we shared a playlist. Cigarettes after sex on repeat. Teddy rolls her eyes onto the clouds, and out the window, burden of a friend, truth and care to bear. I know you up one day he leaves her, but he isn't, because they never do. My denial's done me zero favors so far, but he is hoping for a change. And I just want to know why you said you loved me so. If you would never be mine, it was the cruelest trick of all time. And what a time spent in pain, still believing false hope you gave to me.
Yeah.
Very good, Gina. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you have a tarot card? I know we cut you off before because We
Bob
had
came on.
Bob came, but did you have a tarot card you wanted to show for Jen?
Let's see. Let's see what we got for Jen.
All right, let's bring Jen. Let's see what we got for Jen. Gina might have a tarot card.
All right. We got the 10 of Pentacles, and it's Mercury in Virgo, it says, because it's got the astrological thing. I love the artwork on it. Can you see?
Yeah.
It's like 3 hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
good prospects. I think you know, you got the completion of the legacy and love in your life. I think that's happening. One of the 7. One of the 7.
2 of the 7 are
Mercury out of the
Virgos.
7,
See,
right?
When Gina gives you a tarot ring, there's another stroke of luck that comes, and you will be the lucky one. All right.
That's a
Now
good
2 of them are Virgo. Does that mean anything?
Oh,
Well, Virgos could be
Marissa?
tough.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Virgo was on the card.
yeah.
It is. So one of them might be a
Mercury.
Virgo.
Mercury in Virgo, it says, rules the card. Whatever that means.
You guys know
Awesome.
better than me.
Yeah. Well, I think what it's saying is that she's picking up a Virgo around you.
Yeah.
And it looks like, you'll have your choice of 3 men because there were 3 hands.
Right.
And 3 of them are good and 5 of them are probably bad. That's what I would interpret it. And communication rules. So you need to make sure you're communicating, because I think that sometimes you're not being clear with what you want. You are in your actions, but I think you have to be clear with your expression also to let people know where you're at. All right. Well, let's bring Bob back on. We're going to hear about this bonding stages program he has going on. I'm going to try to bring everybody on if I can. So let me get Bob on in the middle here. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Hey, Carry On. Let me get these ladies up here. I might have to do the 3 of us, then bring the rest of you guys on a little bit later.
Is there any reason for the
That's probably
order,
hard.
like a significance?
Well, I'm trying. So, Bob, I'm going to let you lead here a little bit. Would you like to talk about the bonding stages program that we're going to focus on today, rather than what's different about it than the Women Men Adore? Like, what's different about it?
So the bonding stages is what men go through to fall in love, and it's a different process than what women do. And it's not that everybody has to chart it out day by day. It's not that. But what I found a lot of times is, and at least the women I speak with, and granted, by the time someone speaks to me, there's usually a crisis or a problem. So it's not like someone when things are going well. But what I saw from this is that women tend to can bond quicker, and especially when emotions are involved or intensity, and men don't bond that way. So the most obvious one has to do with sex. And this is I know it's a little bit of a broad stroke, but a woman goes out with a guy, starts having sex with him, and assumes while we're really bonding. And probably the best example, this is an old movie. What was that? Vanilla Sky. It was kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Tom Cruise. And there was a scene in there where, I forgot the character, and they'd had sex like 7 times the night before. And so she came to see him, and, Tom Cruise is Mr. Narcissistic. And he says, "What are you doing here?" And she says, "Well, we did it 7 times or 3 times last night." And he goes, "Yeah." And she freaked out, because to her, that meant something significant. And he was like, "No, it was 3 probably out of 300 for him that year." And I mean, those are extreme things, but that alone isn't enough, because men have to feel, then think, then feel, then think. And it's not women don't think. It's not that. It's that the stages men go through, because for a man, there's the intensity stage, but after that, there's a period of doubt and questioning. And depending on, his injuries and what he's going through, sometimes that's a bump. Sometimes it's more than that. And how a woman responds during that time, a lot of times has a big impact on whether the guy gets through it or not. I mean, assuming he's capable. Some men just want to stay stuck. Luckily, that's the minority. And what I found is when women see this, they can say, "Oh, we're in this stage. Okay, we're that." And then we give you some idea. Okay, when you're in this stage, try this. This is really kind of what the need is for this stage, as opposed to just trying to be intuitive. Because one thing intuition is real intuition is something based on what you know. So I'm not really intuitive with cars. I can do the general stuff, but making intuitive guesses, I'd be like, okay, that part's hot. Maybe that's bad. That's cold. I got no idea. But most of us think, most women I talk with think they're really intuitive with relationships. And they probably are intuitive, but if they've got bad patterns or if they're struggling with a pattern, they're not as intuitive. They're mistaking intensity with intuition.
Yes, Bob. Yes.
So, the more intense it is, the more real this must be, right? I mean, that we don't say that way. And then because it's really intense, I noticed things. He leaned in. He said this. He said he was committed to me. And I could tell by the look in his eyes, he meant it. And this is not me making fun of women. These are professional women I talk with. These are smart. This is not a dumb thing, because what their brain is doing is making guesses based on what they see, because it really looks like he's committed. And in that moment, he really does mean it. But if he's in stage 2 selling you that versus stage 4 or 5, it means something totally different, even though he's being authentic. And so, but women can skip stages. I mean, women, that's one of the things that women bond. Thank goodness women bond quicker than men do, or men would just be in trouble. And I've had clients, I still remember even teenage clients years ago, and you can see them, they're not sure about the guy, not sure, whatever. And then they come in one day and, wow, he's really something. He's really like this. And then I'd say, did you sleep with him? Yeah. And see, now their intellect is working toward making him more wonderful, which is a good quality, but they're doing it before the guy's committed. And now you can feel they feel horrible because part of their heart's with him and he's still deciding. And that's the part I emphasize is I hate it when women commit too quick while the guy's still making up his mind. I mean, I hate that for women. And I'm not bashing on men for this. It's just, I tell a lot of them, I say, that's a good wife quality. It's a great wife quality. I say, let's don't do that in dating. That's it in dating until he's there. So the stages gives you an idea of where he's at and then what to do with each one. Because especially in stage 3, which is the kind of crisis dating thing, that's normal. I mean, it's normal for a man to have those doubts because that's really when he's considering, is this the person? Is this the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Is this the one, financially that I'm at risk with? Because she could weird out on me. I'm not saying she's going to. She could steal my money. She could. Doesn't mean you're going to, but the fact that she could, for men, that's about sharing power. I can keep going. I'm pausing in case you want to say something, Marissa.
Yeah, I want to get into some of those stages with Jen and Carrie, and I just wanted to offer our listeners. I know that our offer expired with the 15-minute call with you 2 weeks ago with the Women Men Adore, and a lot of people took advantage of that, and Carrie took advantage of that, and she got a lot out of it. And so you're kind enough to offer that again until next Friday, right? The 16th. No.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is the Bonding Stages program. This is not the Women Men Adore. This is if you want what Bob was just talking about. This is that program. I'm going to put it in the chat, the link to it, and make sure that when you purchase the program and you get in touch with Bob's team that you mention Marissa, that you heard about this on my show, because he's not offering this anywhere else. It's only for our viewers until next Friday before the show at 9 p.m. It expires. So I'm going to put this into the chat for you guys and make sure you click this link. And this will take you to the program. Okay. And so I'm going to bring back up Carrie and Jen. Why don't we go with Jen first, since she's kind of in the beginning stages with a lot of these guys, and with one or two of them, she's kind of a little bit further. And let's kind of give this an assessment. And I'm just going to take everybody else down for now, and we'll be back with Carrie and everybody else in a minute. And then we'll assess Carrie's situation, if that's cool with you. So, I took Bob out. Never mind, Bob. Okay. Let's get you guys structured here. All right. All right, Bob, work your magic.
But Jen, what do you think? Since you're sort of stepping into this new room, and it's maybe new for you, but what are you thinking so far?
I don't know how to pick the right one.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So the thing I love especially is, so we got 5 stages. No one has to memorize it right now, but the idea is that I love the idea that you're, rotational dating, or, I love the idea of may the best man win. I love that idea. So that it's their problem, not your problem. That's what if it's not your job to figure it out? It's their job to convince you.
Yeah.
Can we go beyond that? Can I add more?
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, there's more. What if it's your $1 million and all these guys are pitching you for the $1 million? I mean, it's your $1 million. So you'll listen? Super. Awesome. Listen, doesn't mean that you're going to get my $1 million, but I'm open to the offer. I'm open to multiple offers like this. And see, it's not mean. It's not hard, but what I'm offering in return is my $1 million or your heart. Because the magic that a woman brings with it is that there's a place for a woman that nothing else will do. There's a reason why 99% of the men in the world, that's a literal statistic, will get married. Men, it's not a piece of paper. It's not that kind. There's a reason for that, is that there is something. And so that's searching. And now part of this is trusting on your end. It's okay to let them audition. That'll feel like giving up control. It'll probably feel different, I'm assuming. So I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more open to not being so much in control with that.
So what's it, if the concept is, what if we make it their problem instead of yours? Tell me how that would feel.
It feels good. And that's kind of what I said to my mom, like, let the best man win.
Let the best man win. I love it. You're stealing my thunder. That's awesome. Let the best man win, because I'm for these guys. You can pick a favorite, but I'm for all of them. Because let's jump ahead. One day you're married, you're sick, something over here. There's not going to be any romantic reasons. He's going to do it from character alone. He's going to do it because that's what's in him. The way we find that out is by pacing. So this pacing them, they're not going to like it. We're not doing it to be mean. But when you pace them, it's, are they going to try? That's what I'm after. Are they going to try even when they don't feel like it? Even though they don't like being strung along, they may say that it's not stringing along. They may, that's one way we can tell what he's going to be like when he's mad or when he's irritated, because he's going to get that way. So part of stage 3 is your wonderfulness, more specifically, your newness is going to wear off. We know that. We want that. We don't want him falling in love just because of your smile, or just because you're blonde, or just because of whatever feature he really likes, or all of them. It's, what does he do when you're having a bad day? Because then, well, if you can have a bad day or say the wrong thing or mess up, that's freedom. That's when women start to breathe differently and go, you mean I can be goofy, whatever, and he still digs me? Yeah. But wow, I can. See, that's what we captured last time we were here, because it was the way you looked, it felt awkward or whatever. The rest of us were like, wow, look at her. Wow. And it didn't feel really comfortable. We can take that now and apply this with these men, which is, I love may the best man win. And then we expect whoever it is, he's going to have some doubts. Let's just plan on it. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's because the doubts come is, oh my gosh, this is real. That's actually is more of a consideration of, this isn't just she's fun, this is, do I want to live without her? I mean, they're not going to necessarily talk that way, but in their head, they're thinking that way. What's that like when you hear me say that?
Scary.
Yeah.
Like, I might have doubts too.
Well, but see, you want those doubts, because see, only to have lack of doubts is just to go on a bunch of first dates. And so when we have the doubts, what we're after for you, and this is where I think your opportunity is you're able to normalize those doubts. He has them and we expect them. So if I say it's $1 million deal, I want someone to be a little nervous. I don't want someone to be reckless. Let's just throw $1 million at it. No, this is my $1 million. I want you to have a plan. I want you to thought that if you're not scared, I'm not investing with you. That makes me more nervous that you have no doubt in the world. But I'd rather my surgeon be a little cautious and nervous than just be in there cocky, no big deal. No, don't do that. Don't be flippant. Don't be, this is, you're cutting on me. So we want some of that, because doubts mean it goes from you're this ideal perfect person, which you can't be. We're not making that promise, to I see you, the wonderful parts and the weird parts. And I still want to be with you. And that's what's so neat about last time, is you had that embrace of the parts you don't like, of the awkwardness and all that, because when you do that, men pick up on that, and it's not that big a deal. So that's the best gift you can give a man, is that whatever your thing is, I can be shy, or I can talk too much, or whatever. Yeah, and I'm working on it, but I'm always going to have a little bit of that. See, that doesn't scare men. What scares men is, I don't have any issues. Nope, not one at all. I have no issues. Why do you bring it up? And you can just, I mean, both people cringe when someone, it's the lack of awareness is what's so scary. So what's going to be the biggest fear with these 7 going on 17 guys? I said it.
Their fear or my fear?
Yours.
My fear is to pick the wrong one. And I've been single for a long time, so I'm a little scared to lose my freedom, independence, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. And if you lost it, what would that look like?
I mean, hopefully it would be for a nice, healthy relationship, but still a little scary because it's not comfort zone. It's out of my comfort zone.
What if the problem is you don't have a big enough fear?
I should have a worse fear.
Yeah. So I'm going to use an analogy. So the queen gives up a lot of stuff, and the queen is not the king, but the queen owns the king's heart. Not because she's the queen of hearts, she slams stuff and all that, because he's emotionally dependent upon her. If she's having a rough time, the whole kingdom suffers. Just because if she's not happy, she's not content, as a man, he feels like a failure. So yes, you do give up freedom, and it's a big freedom, but what you trade off is the influence and the power, where all of a sudden it becomes his problem for you to be happy. I mean, not in a codependent, literal way, but he takes on that ownership from you survived, you've done the hard part. You've been on your own. I mean, that's the hardest part. You've done the hard part, which means you can always go back to that if need be. What if that fear is just part of you just holding on to what's familiar? There are people that will hold on to $35,000 an hour jobs, literally, and they will turn down opportunities to double their salary because they're afraid they'll fail. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And which would lead to 100,000 because I'm afraid I might mess up, make a mistake, as opposed to the thought of, yeah, I'll just grow into it. Of course I might make mistakes. Now, how would it feel to have that kind of influence over a man?
Scary.
Yeah. Would you like it? That's okay. You don't have to have it. If it would.
No, I mean, I would like it, but I guess that's what you were saying. It's bigger fear. And I call comfort zone what you're saying familiar. Like,
yes. And familiar is really powerful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say something, Marissa?
I do. I had a little question for Jen, because when you asked, what's your biggest fear? I knew what her answer was going to be, that she was going to pick the wrong one. And I think that's for anybody that's, changing a pattern. That's the first step. Like, oh, well, I just have to pick the right one and then everything will be fine. Where you pick the right one, you're still going to have all those. It's almost like harder if you pick the right one, because it doesn't feel in any way secure, because it's completely different than what you've ever expected in your relationships. And I've gone through that when Bob kind of led me away from the twinkly light on the top of the tree that really didn't have anything behind it and put me in a different direction. I would say that was one of my hardest relationships, because it was completely foreign to me, to where it made me think like, maybe I should go back to what feels intense and what feels good and what feels, so I think what I'm worried about with Jen, and not a worry, like I don't trust Jen. I do trust Jen because she's making such great progress. But like when those thoughts when she goes a little bit deeper down the road and the one guy starts giving her more attention, the unavailable guy, and the other guy remains consistent, I just, how do you breach that point where that calling is starting to get more intense to kind of go toward the other guy, and the feelings are getting more intense? That intensity is calling you and the other guy is just getting more boring. Do you know what I mean? How does she breach that?
Well, yeah,
that moment?
Because the other guy, if he remains boring indefinitely, then he's not your guy. So pacing is simply to give him a chance. Some men warm up slower than others. Some men are good at dating, bad at marriage. Some men are not great at dating, but are great at marriage. And, just because someone isn't really great at dating initially doesn't mean that they're not someone that you can feel something really intensely for. Not because you make yourself. We're not talking about like forcing it. That works terrible. But just some men just take longer to warm up. That's why we cite office romances. This is what happens a lot of times. Folks aren't looking, and then a month, 6 months later, they just can't keep their hands off each other. So when it happens, I do what I like is when someone's doing it, I just remind them that you can go back. You can go and make it less forbidden. You can do that. And it's not so much reverse psychology as much as making something forbidden makes it more appealing, just naturally. And so I do this with drug addicts or anyone. I can say, no, you can get high. You can drive drunk. You can. Now, I don't think you'll like the consequences, but you can do it. And that generally is a lot more freedom, because this really ends up being your choice, because part of you knows what you really want. And it's not a choice between exciting and bad and boring and scary. So we don't fall in love and spend the rest of our life with someone because they're boring and safe. Again, it's his job to convince you to say yes. If you can imagine me walking around with you all the time, every doubt, I'm like, no, his job, not yours. I'll pick wrong. No, you don't pick, he does. And then you decide, yay or nay. And it's a lot less work for a woman. You have to trust it more, but that's something you grow into. And I don't mean like years. That's one of those, and I've had clients, I remember when it hits them, they're like, you're not kidding. It really is his job. I'm like, I'm really not kidding. It really is his job. It's really not yours, unless you want to make it yours. But it's his job to figure out how to get you to say yes. And so
feels like a weight's lifted when you say that.
Yeah, that's great.
You're welcome. I think that's a continuation of where you started. Since it's his job, that's why we give men a chance. Again, I'm going to talk myself into it. Yuck. It's just his job. It's just some men, I don't think there's a chance in the world he can talk me into it, but I'll give him a chance. But after whatever, 2-3 dates, whatever, and you realize this is not going to happen, that's fine. Because most men just want a chance. Just coach, put me in. Just put me in. If I bomb, I just at least want a chance. Just get her to say yes. If I can say yes, I'll take it from there. And if I strike out, that stinks. And that's the gracious part, is that you give them a chance. That's why I call it auditioning. Remember, you don't audition for men. Never. They audition for you. And men don't mind it. We don't mind. We don't mind. That's fine. I'll audition for you because I'm the hunter. See, what we don't like is when men fish. We hate that. We don't fish. We just kind of throw stuff out and see what bites. We don't like that. We like hunters. Pursuit, offers, coming towards you. It doesn't have to be like over the top, but it certainly isn't last minute. That's fishing. And that's why women don't like it. It's just like, this smells bad.
Well, I have to get to Carrie, but I appreciate Jen. I hope you got a lot out of Bob, and I hope that I'm really happy that you came back on to give us that update, because it's really incredible. And I hope that you'll actually have a call with Bob soon too, because I think you gain a lot of insight from him as well. So thanks for coming on, Jen. I really appreciate it. And we look forward to having you on again to find out who you picked, and maybe bring some of these guys on for us to assess. That would be my dream coming on. So thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jill.
All right, Bob. So I'm just going to tell our audience about your offer one more time. I have an updated link because I made actually a little page, which I didn't have the other link set up. I sent the other link, but I made a little nice visual page for you. So the Bonding Stages program, you're offering to our audience a 15-minute call with you about their relationship And I know a couple women on the show tonight had that call and said it was invaluable. So, and it's $150 value. So you're getting a lot out of it.
Yes, it is. And it's, part of the reason is for this one is I had so many women that things were going well, and then all of a sudden something went wrong.
Yeah.
And they don't know why. And that's really what the bonding stages is about, is to why he pulls away, why he gets weird, why he kind of stuff. And then, and then when he does this, do this. Do
See,
that
their solutions. Yeah.
It's the closest thing to a manual. I mean, it's not, that's probably might be the best word.
A manual.
But a lot of them will tell me, they'll get in trouble and they'll say, I pulled it out again. And they're going through it. That's why I call it like a manual, because they're like, they can tell me which page and stuff, because it gives you something when you don't know what to do, versus guessing and stuff. Because that's what I think, at least the women I talk with, is, you make a guess because men don't know. I mean, men have this weird feeling. And what happens a lot of time when men feel it is they just say, oh, this must not be it, or there must be a problem. And sometimes the weird feeling is normal just because she got close. Sometimes the woman didn't do anything wrong at all. She did it right, and that makes him nervous because everyone else that's done it right in his past is cheated, left him, whatever, and part of him is just reacting to that.
Right.
So it helps normalize that. And there is something about when you can say the right thing at the right time for a man, and especially when he hasn't experienced that, that's when a woman stands out. It's just like, oh, you get me. You're the one woman that gets me. So
like you're putting him at ease rather than giving him more anxiety.
Totally putting him at ease. And actually, because remember, women are the emotional gatekeepers more than men. If we leave this up to men, you're in trouble.
Right.
I beg everyone not to do that. So
well, I have the link. I'm gonna put up the updated link. You'll see the updated link. And remember, this offer does expire next Friday, 10/16, before this show at 9:00. So this is not the same book as last time, the Women Men Adore. This is the bonding stages to commitment, right? This is the different bonding stages to commitment and the different stages of commitment. Mm-hmm. So let's bring back up Carrie, who's in, what stage would you say she's in your book right now? Like 3?
No, probably 2 still.
Okay. So could you tell us what stage? Is there like a title to stage 2?
There's we just retitled them, but stage 2 is the euphoric, everything's kind of effortless. I mean, it doesn't have to be like over the top, but stage 2 is where we're projecting, and you need that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if we were all super serious right away and swapped resumes, no one would date. It would just be like an office party. So it's both people put their best foot forward. I mean, it's like a job interview. From you don't go in there and say, these are my bad habits. You're supposed to best foot forward, and it's normal and nice, and it can't last simply because if I have to do that all the time, I'm walking on eggshells. I mean, we really don't want it to last. I mean, we want the feeling to last, but we want to switch from something, that's really adrenaline based, which is stage 2, to more endorphin based. Is where we get to stage 5. And that's, the endorphins, totally different chemical set. It doesn't have the spikes of adrenaline, but just like coals of a fire. I mean, it can burn very hot, very intense, but it comes about a different way. It's just adrenaline stuff's more fun. Just like ice cream is a blast until you eat too much of it. Same with adrenaline. And that's why women, that say, I didn't marry guys or bad boys and stuff, and it's fun, but then they crash. And it's a horrible crash. And that's why I equate it to sugar or something like that. So at some point, most of us hopefully outgrow the need to have sugar highs all the time. Not because we can't, it's just too exhausting. So, but it sounds like, listen to her stage 2, though, is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's managed really well. Because see, remember, the higher stage 2 gets, the worse of a crash there is in stage 3. So what I tell women is a crash is coming. Not to be ugly, it's coming. Because there's going to be a day when you smile and all of a sudden he doesn't buy you a dozen roses. Or you tilt your head and, oh my gosh, he's not, and we want that. But if he doesn't feel that and he freaks out, and if I don't know better, why didn't you buy me roses? Well, why didn't you, I'll assume something too, because in stage 3, he cannot reassure you during that stage. So I'm foreshadowing, Carrie. And so forth. And sometimes men just have a speed bump, and sometimes they crash like going off a cliff. I mean, it doesn't always have to be just. So the nice thing about the pacing, whether Carrie, you're doing it or he is or both, it sets up for a lot smoother transition. Just from your idyllic and perfect to your real person that I can't live without.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because he uses the word pace. Often.
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe he's read the bonding stages.
I know.
I have a question for you. Have you guys had any commitment conversation, or did he ever bring up any of that conversation?
Yeah. So I told you there's an age difference, which is, I mean, all the guys I've dated. So my 8 years older, this guy's younger. He's quite a bit younger. So he's expressed that he's incredibly loyal, and his relationships have been quite long. And then the conversation about, do I want children, which is just an interesting conversation to come from a guy in general. That's a question I would ask. I mean, what do you think about marriage? Like that, that's a question that I would ask. So I like that he's responsible enough to put his fears or his concerns out there early on, because it made me feel like he's not just, moving into this carelessly or without, it seems like he has expectations for what he wants, and he's considering me part of that, which is it's a nice question to be asked, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be in a monogamous committed relationship with him?
I mean, I only want monogamous committed relationships. I often err on the side of I'm a spiritual person, and I was actually taking notes on my phone. I wasn't texting when Bob was talking. And I love that, intuition is not the same thing as intensity. I wrote it down somewhere, because I think being a spiritual person, I can get drunk on that feeling of, and then that, just the timing, and it was so powerful, and I don't want to get into too many details on how we met, but it was hilarious. And the girlfriends that I've shared, the timing and how we met have been, and just tongue in cheek, oh honey, you met your husband, because it's like a hilarious story. And I can get really, I can romanticize the details, and I can romanticize the feeling and the time. And because I'm a spiritual person, I do seek out spiritual contact. I can feel that sort of intoxication from hope, faith, whatever. And I can put that hope, faith into people. Historically, I've put hope and faith into people who did not have hope or faith. I always assign that higher vibration to people who may not be able to see it in their own selves. So
Okay. Well, before we get to Bob's response to that, we do have a question from our chat here, which I think is a good question. It's Lisa Marie asks, why can't he reassure her in stage 3?
Because he doesn't have the capacity.
Okay.
So in stage 3, I'm overwhelmed. I don't really know why I'm feeling this way. And then you want me to explain it to you, but I don't understand it. And so if I don't understand it, well, that must mean something's wrong. But so I just need to be left alone until I figure this out. But I don't even know what I'm trying to figure out. So if I talk about it, that just makes me feel worse. That just reinforces my fears. It would be like someone saying, "Why are you so stupid?" I don't know why, but why? You must know why you're stupid. See, now I'm just going to make stuff up. So I don't know how to answer that. That's not what you'd say, but that's what it feels like. Because those fears feel really similar to the fears he'd have if he really should get out of a relationship and he can't tell the difference. Some of them are fears that are just like a protective thing. Like, I've been hurt before, I don't get hurt again. But those fears feel really similar to, oh my gracious, this isn't a good fit, get out. And you can't discuss that with the person because they're, you can, but what if you say the wrong thing? She's going to get upset. Now I want to reassure. You can hear me talking faster. That's what it goes on. It goes faster and faster in my head like this. So I can't talk about this. You don't care about me. See, there's no win. That's the feeling of stage 3. Nothing I say is going to work because I don't have the answer you want.
Okay. See, I feel like when we had Britt on that last time with you, Bob, and with Carrie, they're in that stage where all of this, like, and I have a lot of women who call me with the situation is that they're enjoying time with somebody. It's like they're getting along, they're spending time as if they're in a relationship, but yet the guy is not breaching that commitment conversation. So is that a bonding stage, or should women know what to do at this point? Because it usually doesn't go well when the woman's like, what's going on here? What's going on?
If she's having that, probably between stage 2 and 3, she's probably giving more than she's getting.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily mean like she's giving a ton more. It's that he's too comfortable. And I don't mean in an ugly way. It's just that men tend to do what we have to do. And that's really good from an efficiency standpoint. I mean, just why have wasted energy? But I like the idea of making men uncomfortable, and men like this. Now, we don't do it in an ugly way. Don't do it in a way where it challenges him and stuff like that. And that's part of the idea of pacing and may the best man win. It's not meant to be just jerking guys around or be ugly like that. It's men pursue because if they don't, the fear is someone else will snatch her up. And that doesn't mean you have to date everyone and parade them, but women are good at bonding and nesting and just connecting. Men, it's a sharing of power, and sharing my power means you get inside my armor in a way no one else does. And I don't want that unless I know for sure. So it just takes us longer. We have to feel, think. Women can skip some of that. I mean, that's rather amazing. We can't. And no matter how intense it is, we still have to go through that. And so if a woman knows that, even though it's going to feel foreign to her and knows that about him, then when he goes through those, if he takes her for granted, it's time not to be as accessible. If she's not sure of the relationship, I'm like, hey, if you're seeing him twice a week, can we cut that down to 1?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened with me, Bob, with the guy that you told me to be careful of, was that and you didn't even know any of this. It was just like on one radio show, like what happened with Jen happened with me, with you. He was spending all this time with me, going on, everywhere with me, being at the house all the time, calling me every day. But then there was no talk of a relationship or a commitment. And every time I'd breach that subject, well, I'm not ready. I'm depressed. I don't have my finances together, blah, 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 blah. But then when I left the situation and I was like, it's done, dude, it's over. He's like, I was just about to tell you I love you. I was just about to change my status on Facebook. Like, I want this. And I'm just like, nah, sorry. He's like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew the ship was going to sail. It was like a year of no commitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I like women to do that before they're actually done.
Oh, see, I was done.
Well, that's what I mean. Because when women are done, it's really hard to, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's just hard when a woman's done. But I'd like a man to feel that before she's done, because then there's still a chance.
Well, how do you do
when women are done, well, I'm sorry?
Do you just like pull back your attention? Is that what it is?
Because, men don't, it doesn't bother men a whole lot when women scream or demand. It's just annoying.
No.
Because it's not threatening, it's just irritating. But what's scary is when she doesn't care. That's scary. She's not mad. I might as well be the dishwasher or the Uber driver. And you can tell her energy's gone. So it is a pulling back. And that's why I find if women can, same day, but go out with several guys before while. I mean, a lot of times that helps pace them. I'm not saying it's required, but it's helpful because as he's making up his mind, I love the idea that he's just not sure she's all the way in. I mean, we can be wonderful and all that, but just not sure. That helps him because it feels like it's his choice. Remember, there's a huge need for masculine and for men to choose. They just because when men choose, I've seen this with investments and everything. When they choose, even if it's a bad choice, they'll stick with it. And even if it's bad, by golly, it's my choice.
True.
I'll
I've
go
seen
down
that.
to
A
shit.
lot of people, yeah. Wow.
I wrote
okay.
something down that Bob said real quick that men feel and then think and then feel and then think and then doubt, and eventually they start to doubt and question, and maybe past hurts or something comes up, and how a woman deals with this is sort of critical. Is that phase 3?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If we know it's going to happen, which means it's normal, then it's not that big a deal because all of us do this with some things. In your job or whatever, you can bring in someone new and they can freak out and you go, yeah, that's fine. But that's fine. Because you've been through it enough times, you normalize it with them and stuff, and they don't know that. But they're feeding off your reaction. Okay, Carrie's not worried. So I guess we're not going to go out of business. Now we're fine. And so that ability to do that doesn't mean you have to have the answer. The stuff we worry about is character stuff. He lies all the time. He thinks cheating's fun. Character stuff's different. Character stuff isn't going to change for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a stage 3 thing. That's a get out of there thing. But emotional stuff, they go up and down. And everyone, and that's how men do it. Because when men bond, I mean, statistically, men have a much harder time getting over breakups and divorce than women do. It's brutal for men. We just some studies say men fall in love maybe 2-3 times in a lifetime. I mean, really fall in love.
Wow.
We just don't have the recuperative skills that women do.
Well, I appreciate everything you guys brought on. We usually go a little bit longer when we have all of our assessments with Bob. So, thanks for sticking on with us. We do have to close out the show. I'm going to put on the link to get Bob's program in a private call with Bob. I mean, Carrie, you did it and you loved it, right?
I did. Yeah, I took notes down too.
And you're like, I want to talk to Bob again. So here's your chance. So yeah, we were going to offer either another call with Bob or a bonus reading material. And I thought, you know what? Everybody liked all the calls with Bob and they just want more Bob Grant. I mean, could you blame them? Could you blame them? No. So we're going to leave everybody hanging and he'll be back again. And we want to hear from Karen, want to hear from Jen. Maybe Elise will ask a question or two next time. Because she's single
and everything. Yeah, I'm single. Yeah, a long time I'm single.
Yeah.
So, but I'm learning a lot from Bob. So
we're going to change that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you wove him, you like waved. I swear to God, we were watching the broadcast with Jen, and you could see her energy completely change. Seems like she went from heavier energy to completely light energy. There were like stars overhead, and then all of a sudden, in the next 7 days, she's got 7 days. Like that's not practical. That's not logical.
Sign me up, Bob.
What?
It's like sign me up, Bob.
Yeah, see, Michael Ruff, he's our holistic dentist, South Jersey Smiles. He was on Intuitive Radio. He thinks it's a great show. This is the guy talking.
Yeah.
Well, he's seeing, Bob's right. So we're happy we had you on, Bob. Thanks for coming. We're glad that you heard our telepathic page in the Ethernet saying, Bob, please. We had to summon our spirits. We had to summon the relationship experts on the other side to stand in your place. But we're glad you came.
Absolutely.
So we hope we'll be having Bob back. He loves coming. Yeah, he loves coming on. So he'll be back at some point. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. So thanks everybody for coming. And
Thank you.
Good seeing you again.
We're signing off from the lounge.
Right.
Thank you, Bob.